You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
All right, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, and review. I'm going to be a lone wolf today. Alan Lee's busy. And the night wing to my sidekick, Victor Pacheco. We got the dates wrong. We'll probably explain that to Anastasia. Anyways, if you like the show, subscribe, rate, and review. I don't have any shows coming up, but I do have my guest. So we're just going to jump on in, and we'll do closing remarks later. She's here. Hey.
Hello.
Finally. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Welcome to Reza Riffs.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Usually I have a trusty sidekick, you know?
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Because, like, they laugh at, like, my jokes because I'm not funny. But
I'll do that for you today. I'll laugh for you.
Well, see, no, there's a story behind this.
Okay.
So the story is this. I thought we were doing it Thursday, the 27th, but today's the 27th. And when I was looking at my calendar, because I have two phones, because, like, not to brag, but I'm a celebrity. I was looking at my 2021 phone. So my trusty sidekick thinks we're doing the interview tomorrow.
I mean, I get it.
You may have to come back tomorrow, too. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm open.
Uh-huh.
I once went to a concert the day after, so I get it.
Oh, yeah? Was it Coachella or something?
Oh, no. It was like some beer fest. I won tickets through, like, K-Rock, and I was like, let's go. Me and my friends were like, wow, there's, like, nobody here. Because it was yesterday.
You know, there's some people who, like, save their ticket stubs. You know what I mean? And they're like, 20 years ago, I saw Billy Idol.
Yeah.
Here's proof. You're like, you probably just got that off eBay. Like, that's not actual proof.
Yeah, no. The experience is the proof.
Exactly. That's true. So, well, thanks for doing it. Thanks for being here. I see you're drinking some alcohol. Was that alcohol?
I'm not. No, it's an energy, like, metabolizer.
Oh, it looks like one of those alcoholic sizers. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, like a White Claw or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way worse. It's,
Yeah, I'm drinking a cherry Pepsi.
We all have our poisons.
Yeah. I was wondering that, like, this has nothing to do with anything, but I was wondering how come they don't have like soda alcohol. You know what I mean? Like, you have to put the alcohol in the soda, but you don't have you know what I mean?
Soda. Yeah, I did hear that they were making an alcoholic version of Mountain Dew, but without the caffeine, because otherwise it'd be like Four Loko, and I don't know if you remember the Four Loko problems, but
yeah. Oh, you mean a Mountain Dew?
Well, yeah, they're making an alcoholic version of Mountain Dew, but they're taking the caffeine out.
Right.
Because years ago there was a drink called Four Loko, which was an energy drink with alcohol in it that was, like, really messing with people, and they made it illegal. And I know. I had my Four Loko nights. I remember them.
I've never heard of that.
Nor should you. It's horrible. And it's illegal.
But we seem like we're the same age, so that's something I should have heard of.
Well, I don't know. Like, I was in this short film called Demon Juice, which is kind of based on some kind of, like, drink like that. And one of the girls on set was like, yeah, I still have my Four Locos. And I was like, that's so old. What are you going to do with them? And she's like, I don't know. One day, if there's an apocalypse, I might drink them. I'm like, okay, all right. You have fun with that.
Hey, I just got a notification saying your peeps want to come in. Do you want me to let let them in?
Sure, whatever.
I mean, because I kind of like it better just you and me, but if they need to listen or whatever.
It's up to you. I don't care.
All right, we'll just say, yeah, that guy's a dumbass. He didn't see you.
There you go.
But no, I did hear this strange thing about Mountain Dew when I was a kid. I have no idea if it was true, but I heard if you drank Mountain Dew, like for guys, it would like lower your sperm or something.
There's so many things out there that can do that. Like stevia is supposed to do that to you. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
weed is supposed to do that. Yes, stevia does that. Weed is supposed to do that. But as we know, there's lots of pot babies out there. So I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what else does that to you is health.
True.
Like they don't teach you that in school.
You know, fortunately, I don't have to worry about my sperm count. So
no, you're good.
I'm just stevia it up.
No, you're definitely good. I'm just saying. I'm
weed.
I'm just saying for the folks at home, you know what I mean?
This is a public service announcement. Don't drink stevia drinks and smoke weed if you're worried about your sperm count.
No, I'm so glad I found you on the Facebook because like I said, the whole calendar thing, I was like, oh God, because I can't I'm not one of the, like, one thing is, I'm sure you know this about stand-up, is I think the thing that irritates us the most is probably flakes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if you ask someone, like especially if it's a big show, hey, will you come, and they flake, or like the booker flakes on paying you, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I hate flakes, and I've when I started, I said, you know what, I'm never gonna flake, and we had to reschedule. I gave enough notice, but I was like, I can't like flake for my trusty sidekick. You know what I mean?
Well, I understand. I mean, like, unfortunately, like, I never want to be a flake or late or any of that stuff, but it happens, and it stresses me out, but it has happened.
So you do stand-up comedy. I've seen you at the Improv once or twice, but then COVID hit. So yes. So how did you, because you're very good on the Zoom, so I'm sure you did a lot of Zoom shows.
Thank you. I did a lot of Zoom shows. I did park shows too, which were a thing for a bit. Where you
explain to the folks what a park show is.
A park show is literally somebody brings like audio equipment to a park, and we do a stand-up show in the middle of a park, and there is everything else going on. I mean, I did one at quite a few at Pan Pacific Park, so there'd be like massive birthday parties happening around you, dogs running onto the stage while you're performing. You know, we saw it all. But I do think it makes you a better comic, the fact that you can just play anywhere, right? Like, I mean, that's probably not the most difficult forum I've ever played. Like, dive bars are pretty hard. When you're competing with like a Dodger game, you can't. So, you know.
Well, see, I was at the point with the pandemic where I agree with you, dive bars are the hardest, but I was at the point where, because it went on 1 year. There, first it was only supposed to be 2 weeks, then it went on, right. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I fucking miss doing dive bars. Like,
that's harsh. Like, that's you know, and you're like, I need the stage time, I'm going to dive bars. And I'm that way right now. I'm like, I will take that dive bar thing because I need to work on it, and I need to thicken my skin because we've been so, like, I don't know, weirdly sheltered, but also not lately. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
But I've never done jokes at a park, but I did do jokes at a zoo once. Yeah. And you know, the hyenas thought I was funny.
I'm not gonna burst that bubble for you.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say the giraffes and the bears didn't, but
yeah, I'm just gonna let you have that bubble. Can you not? My cat is drinking my energy drink, which is probably not great, so I'm gonna put it over there.
I'll have to get a new energy drink for this podcast. I was doing my research on you because, like, I like to, like, not ask the same questions. So I was listening to a podcast you did, and I don't remember the name of it, but like, I'm listening to it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So the dude asks you a question, and in your answers, he plays like creepy music. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And at first I thought it was my phone, like someone calling me or something. I was like, oh, hey, I'm listening. I'm doing some research on Anastasia. Leave me alone, you know? And then like, it keeps going on and on the whole time. I was like, okay, there's no way I'm getting this much cameos. So I don't know. So I thought it was cool, but then I thought it was like, was that like intentional or like, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I do not.
It was like,
do you know?
Oh no. Yeah, you were talking about the Addams Family, and that was like din 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 din, like during your whole answer.
Maybe they were like trying to be so like Addams Family-esque.
I was like,
I don't know. It's kind of better that they did creepy music instead. What I usually get is people singing the "Eat Me" song back to me, and it gets real creepy. And
oh, what's the "Eat Me" song for the folks at home?
So in the second Addams Family movie, there's a song called "Eat Us."
Oh right, yeah, right. At the camp, yeah.
Yeah, at the camp.
Me. Yeah.
So I sang that as a kid, and so when people find that out, usually like there's all this stuff I've done in my career, but usually when they find that out, they decide they want to sing that to me, and it feels like it feels weird. I don't know. Yeah. I'm like they're like, "Eat us," and they're like, "Oh, sing it." I'm like,
okay. Holy Lord, you have a cat. Oh. Holy Lord, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, she does that. She's
oh my God. I was like, what the
you're
talking about eating me and then a cat. I was like, what the
she's trying to get my energy drink, and she needs to calm down.
Oh. No, I wish you would have told me this "Eat Me" story like 10 minutes ago, because now I feel like a dick for making you want to sing it.
All right, here we go.
Okay, rewind. No, but you know what? It is fascinating about the Addams Family "Eat Me" song is I think that was in the second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel the Addams Family sequel, and I feel like it's one of those sequels that it's probably better than the first.
I do think it's a very strong sequel. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot. There's so much going on, and there's so many statements that they make in the second one. I didn't get this as a kid, obviously. Like I remember just like having conversations with my mom. I'm like, did you understand? She's like, you didn't get any of the stuff that you were saying. It was
yeah.
I was like, okay.
Well, I don't think I think it because I know you did child acting, and I was never in anything, but I always auditioned for stuff, and so I think when they send you the script, you're taught as a child not to understand the entire story, just what you say.
Right. Well, yeah, because we don't. I mean, there's some comprehension level that we're just not. But I do think like at a certain point, like I started understanding things, and my parents were just very shocked about how like adults, like sometimes my brain would think, and they'd be like, wow, she's really getting that, I'm like, well, what do you expect? Like, I'm around adults a lot. I was in like, I mean, I think I was in a rated R movie before I was like 8.
Whoa, you were in a rated R movie?
I think it's rated R. Actually, let me check.
What movie?
Die Hard.
Oh yeah, that's definitely rated R. That's a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. I fight with people all about it all the time, and then people are like, "Well, it's not," and I'm like, "Well, I sang a Christmas Carol in the movie, so I think it is rated R." So I would think I was like 6 when I did that movie, 5 or 6.
That's cool. I'm more interested in the Addams Family.
Do it. Let's talk about it.
But no, so like what I was saying is because Die Hard 2, whatever, but I don't think any Die Hards. I don't think it's as good as Die Hard 1. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I mean, ouch, but I agree.
It's not knocking against you. It's just
you're like, especially that scene with that little girl where she's singing a Christmas Carol. She was
terrible. Now, when I see Die Hard 2, I think, you know what, this movie's terrible, but this little girl would be better if she sang a song called "Eat Me." That's what we need for Adams.
That's what we need. You know what? I talked to the directors about it. I was like, you know what would really benefit if I would just randomly sing a song that has nothing to do with this.
But no, so like when you're looking at a movie, like when I go see a movie, I like the story is the most important thing to me, but then like I care about the casting. Like, can I believe all these characters? And I feel the Addams Family 1 and 2 was actually perfectly cast. I thought all the characters were just matched, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. Like the actors were amazing. It is one of the best experiences I think I've ever had on set. And it's not just because I was young, you know, I think there's something very magical about those actors. You know, it's just very surreal to like work with somebody of those calibers, you know? I mean, and it wasn't a perfect experience. I was a kid, so of course I was like a little shit sometimes. Like I threw a tantrum on set. I remember throwing the worst tantrum on the first Addams Family. Like I was such a jerk.
Oh, tell us the story. We want to. Did the guy from Ally McBeal get mad at you?
No, actually, Raul Julia he brought me he sat down with me at lunch with my mom and was like talking to me, and like we had lunch together, and I think it kind of calmed me down because I hated the outfit. I hated it. I didn't want to wear tights. I hated tights. I still hate tights. And they put me in tights, and I was just like, I think it was like second or third day of filming, and we had to go to school on set and we had to work, and I was just like, I was a little shit. I was like, I don't want to wear tights. And my mom's like, you have to, and it's continue. Like they've already filmed some of the scene, and you have to be back. And I was like, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. And she's like, you have to. You don't ever have to act again if you don't want after this. But like, you have to finish this project. And so, yeah, Raul Julia was super sweet. I was being an ass.
I actually understand from your point of view though, because like for example, I like to wear clothes that not necessarily makes me look sexy, but clothes that like I could feel comfortable in. And I feel acting and even stand-up, I feel it's clothes where you don't need to really dress to impress. You just need to dress to be yourself and be free.
Right.
So I think like I understand that point of view, because like also I'm not a little girl, so I don't know like how tight tights are. But if I'm young or whatever, I think it would be like very uncomfortable because I'm in that whole, hey, let's go play tag phase. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it was a lot. I mean, like I look at it now, like I have nieces and nephews that are like kind of getting into the industry now at a younger age, and I
just don't put them in Die Hard 19.
No, they are absolutely going to be in Die Hard 19, and if they're not, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, Bruce Willis is gone. Didn't he just retire?
Yeah, but you know they tried to replace him in the last one with his son. So
your publicist just texted me on the iWatch because I got an iWatch.
Oh,
and they're like,
is that your flex?
They're telling me I have to let them in.
Okay.
So I have to. Okay. So we just won't talk bad about them when they get here. Okay, because I don't think that would be professional. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
All right, so we're letting them in, and we'll wait till we'll wait till they get it.
Okay,
then we'll make things. Yeah, we'll take a energy.
I'm gonna make it weird and have a vitamin gummy in front of everybody.
We'll take an energy drink break.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Not sponsored at all.
All right. Excellent. Welcome to the party. Okay, cool. Excellent. I just got in trouble on the iWatch, and we were just going on and on about Addams Family. You didn't miss anything.
No problem. Thank you for letting me in.
Holy Lord, she talked. Oh my God.
Sorry, my volume wasn't working for some reason. It was taking a while to connect. How are you guys?
All right. Excellent.
No, I actually just got into the meeting. I don't know if it wasn't connecting or anything.
Oh, all right. Cool. So Anastasia,
Yes.
we'll get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
We're on a roll here for a second, then the iWatch buzzed.
It happens.
Do you have an iWatch?
I do. I don't wear it all the time now. I have a really old one.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I think I've come to the conclusion when I bought an iWatch that I fucking hate technology, because it's like you're driving, right? And you get a text message and you're like, oh yeah, and you're and then you're on a freeway and then it's like, and you're like, oh, somebody died, and you're like, wait, somebody died, and then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't read it on the iWatch. You need to look on the phone.
It's distracting, and I really get stressed out when it tells me to breathe or stand up.
Yes.
Like,
take a moment for mindfulness.
Yeah, like, can you calm down? Like, obviously I'm having an anxiety attack. Just let me have it. Like, don't tell me to breathe.
Yeah.
It's like it's something like my boyfriend says sometimes. He's like, just breathe. And I'm like, oh, what are you, an Apple Watch or something? Like, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
As someone who has anxiety, I think just breathe is one of the worst advices.
Thank you. Like, I have an anxiety disorder, and when people say like just breathe or just calm down, it's not that, you're like, okay, that doesn't help this situation. But I love the Apple Watch or iWatch or whatever it is for one thing, and that is the competition aspect of working out. So I only wear it when I work out so that I can do better than my friends.
Okay.
Yeah. I want them to know that I did a spin class and that it was like 500 calories and they were sitting on the couch. It's this flex that I have. Yeah.
So I'm actually the exact same way. So like when I tell my girlfriend to go to the gym, I'll let her take my iWatch. I just say, you go work out, hon. You do your thing. Don't come back for another 3 hours. You make me look good. And then she gives me the iWatch. I'm like, hey guys, I've lost 900 calories.
I should put it on my cat and just like see.
Yeah. Then you could turn on the Eat Me soundtrack. No, I hate going back to that, but I actually the kid in that movie, not the family kid, but the one who was like trying to get with Wednesday, you know?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I auditioned with something for him. It wasn't the Addams Family. I want to say it was like Hook or something. And I met him, and he was actually he was actually a very nice kid.
Oh yeah, he was sweet. I mean,
I forgot his name though. But
I can totally see his face too.
I remember his face because I remember he didn't get hooked, and then like the next year he had the Addams Family. I was like, what the hell?
I mean, both great projects.
I know.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, I don't think he was the super nice guy. I think everybody was nice on that set. I was like, I have no like gory stories or shit to talk about anybody. I do think it was,
except for your tantrum about types.
Well, yeah, I'll talk. I totally talk shit about myself. I was like, look at this little brat.
Have you ever had a bad experience, like on a set?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to call people out.
Oh, you don't have to call people out. If you don't want to talk about it, we could just move on. But I've had several bad experiences on sets, and I actually have bad experiences in stand-up too, which to me is like sets.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, I just actually wrote a short film that I'm hoping to produce about and
is there a part for me?
There's definitely a part for you.
Oh, excellent.
For sure. But the thing is, like, the dialogue is like all stuff that like has been said to me about being like a female comic. Like, like I didn't have to come up with any of the dialogue.
So okay. Okay, so let's do a little role play here. I'll be the famous booker or whatever. All right.
Okay.
I just posted something on the Facebook saying I have a spot open.
Yeah.
Right. You. Oh wait, we can't do Facebook because we can't type. We'll Well, when we're talking, we'll act like that's talking.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Hey, I got a spot at the Laugh Factory. Need comics. Good pay, bitches.
Well, hello. I am a biracial female comedian that's available for booking.
I didn't say females.
Oh.
Bitches. Like, it's just so...
It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, I actually recently was like at a gig and at a dive bar, and I was sitting there, and this guy did his whole set about me. His whole set. And then I got up because they announced me, and he was like, "Oh, you're a comedian? I would have never guessed." I was like, "Oh, okay."
No, you know, I've because like I've been doing stand-up for 17 years.
Wow.
And you know,
grind.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a saint or whatever, but like you know what Ida Rodriguez is?
Mm-hmm.
So she's my comedy mom, and when I started, she was like where I'm at now, where, you know, just kind of a name but not getting the full respect. So like I watched her grow from that in 17 years, and now she's selling out everywhere. You know what I mean? So I see how clubs and bookers and stuff they treat, because Ida's the funniest person in the world, I feel. I mean, now that I met you, she's obviously number 2, but her work ethic was just so great. And I just remember, you know, it's hard enough for me. I could just only imagine how it is for her. And I want to quit. I'm surprised she hasn't quit. You know what I mean?
It's hard. Like, I mean, I've had those moments where I'm like, whoa, is this worth it? Especially like when you're at a certain point in your career, right? Like, first of all, like people think it's so glamorous to be an actor or stand-up comedian, but it is hard, and you work for little money, if sometimes not money.
And you have to act like you got the money.
And you have to act like it. And so it's a lot. It's a lot. And then you're going to clubs, and you by yourself, club after club. And yeah, sure, you build a community and stuff, but it's not the easiest life in the world. And it can get daunting. And then people not taking you seriously. On top of that, it's hard, you know, because obviously, like, we all have family too that looks at us in a certain way for pursuing these kind of things. Even if they're semi-supportive, there's this thing like, when is this gonna end? When is this hobby gonna end?
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. Do you ever feel like I don't know, like I personally feel I don't get along with other comics and bookers. Like, I feel there's a handful that I you know, they're my peeps, but there's some people who and I'm not trying to blame this on my autism, because I have Asperger's syndrome, but I'm very blunt, and I'm very, like, I'll give you a story yesterday. So I'm at this show in Harvell's. Have you ever done Harvell's in Long Beach?
Mm-hmm. I have, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, if not, you're doing it next week, girlfriend.
I'm in.
Yeah. Anyways, but so I'm doing Harvell's, and I'm talking to this the booker, and the booker's like, oh, so, you know, he's asking me a whole bunch of Norm Macdonald questions and stuff, and you know, I was like, yeah, Norm's funeral was on the 3rd of May, and, you know, they asked me to speak, and I have no idea what I'm going to say, you know, so I'm talking like I'm having, because he's actually a friend and stuff, and he knows my career. So then this comedian comes in with another comedian. Never seen this comedian in my whole 17 years, but that's not surprising, you know. It's like hookers. You never see the same hooker. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that about hookers. I thought they like had a same corner, but now I know.
No, yeah. Like, they have a corner on a Wednesday, and then they have a corner on a Tuesday, and then they're probably dead on a Wednesday, you know?
You learn something new every day. The more you know. Okay.
Exactly. And so he comes in and he introduces his friend comic, which I've been in that position too. And he's like, oh, this guy opens up for Charles Sanchez. And the booker and I just look at me and we're like, who's Charles Sanchez? But we did it in a nice way, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, Charles Sanchez is see, I say names because I have no filter and I don't really care. But he's like, Charles Sanchez is like the original Latino comic or whatever, which is not true at all. So I Googled him, can't even find Charles Sanchez. And then I Googled Charles Sanchez comic, can't even find him. I was like, Charles Sanchez Latino comic. The guy has 500 followers. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's great. I've heard of him. Right?
They have to flex. They have to like try to flex, right?
Yeah. So me and the Booker now know this comic is full of shit, right?
Right.
And then I do my set, and not to brag, but 1 through 10, I did like an 11. And I come off, and this comic has the nerve, the guy who tours with Charles Sanchez, to give me feedback. He's like, man, I've been touring with Charles Sanchez for 15 years, and this is what you got to do. And he has no idea who I am because, like, not to brag, but I toured with Norm Macdonald for 8 years. I toured with
and
Bob.
You can Google Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, I toured with Bob Saget and Jay Moore, so like I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I've never heard of this Charles Sanchez guy, but whatever. I'm not saying he doesn't exist. And he's giving me feedback, and I'm just like, to me, that's bullying. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's not. I don't like that. So that's why I don't like that either.
Like I think for the most part, I get along with a lot of comics because I don't well, I have this like, I think it's my OCD and my like anxiety disorder or whatever all mixed together in a beautiful soup. But when somebody doesn't like me, I'm like, oh, goal, you're gonna be my best friend.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm gonna make it's like I'm gonna make you love me, and it's not healthy. Like it's not.
I care that for audiences, but not for comics.
I don't know. It's everybody. It must be the child actor in me that's like was like, oh, you hate me? You're gonna love me.
You hate me? Can I do your podcast?
Exactly. Can I? It's just so weird. And I feel like sometimes it's getting better, but it was really competitive among female comics. I feel like we were not very helpful to each other for a while, and now we are getting so much better. Like I just did a huge like cool festival in New Orleans that was all female comedians. That was so fun. I don't know if I would have done that a couple of years ago because I think I would have felt like the community wasn't, we weren't working together. Now we are, and now we're like, I mean, there was like 1 or 2 that I was like, you don't love me, and you're gonna love me. I'm gonna they're on my list. I'm like, I'm gonna make you love me. But
I think that trend started to change though when the Me Too stuff started to really happen. Like I felt like that's when everyone's eyes, including males' eyes, where they started opening, and they're like, listen, what we've been doing is wrong, and now there's a point on what we got to do to make it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think it's just all adjusting too. Like I even think some of my male friends, they feel like they're allies in certain ways to the cause of being a female comic. But then I'll say stuff like I told people like, oh, this guy did his whole set about my boobs, 7 minutes on my boobs and my body. And I was like, that's, like, not only is that just lazy, it's like
it's hacky.
It's hacky. It's like you came up there with no set and you just did a set on my set.
Yeah.
But, it's not whatever. And I remember
it's like you're lucky I'm packing what Pam Anderson's packing. Exactly. But come on. Exactly. If I wasn't in the crowd, what do you got?
What was your set gonna be? And so I remember telling somebody,
talking about that guy's big cock.
Right, exactly. And I was like, probably, maybe. But like I remember telling somebody, and he's like, oh, well, that's horrible. Like even like said some of the stuff, like the quotes that he said and everything. He was like, that's horrible. And then he goes, what was the comic's name? And I told him, and he was like, oh, that guy's really nice. And I was like, see, there's the ally part where you're not being an ally.
Right.
It's hard. And I think we're all trying to do better. We're trying to be better and figure out how to be there for each other, and it's a process. But you know, we're not always 100% like knowing what to do.
No, I get that too. But like, I mean, I also know, like, you know, when I was a young comic, you know, there's a certain comic who made my life hell. You know what I mean? And it's not like he raped me or anything, but he did stuff where like it's very I should have me too'd him. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's to the point where it's like, but then I was at the part where it's like no one would believe me. And then when like more people, like that's what I'm trying to say is like it seems like when it happens to guys, they don't believe you. You know,
Yeah,
they don't
which
have
is
that.
so unfair. Which is so
Yeah.
unfair. And
Like
I
Johnny Depp.
yeah.
I mean, I know he played a part in it, but like from I'm watching it not live, like I paused it, but like it seems like he was in a very toxic relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that we have to be honest about our toxicity on all sides. And nobody's perfect, and we've all been in situations where we crossed a line and stuff like that. I think like the problem with nowadays is that like we're so easy to call things out, but then we also like victim blame and we want to
Yeah.
cancel and we don't want to show empathy. I think it like especially in comedy and stuff like that, we have to be able to mess up and then like forgive. I'm not saying if you're like, listen, I'm not saying if you're like, you know, punching old ladies in the face and having
Yeah.
like
I mean,
forcing people to have sex with you and stuff like that. Like this is not the stuff I'm saying. Like if you mess up verbally, learn, you know.
yeah. I think there's a point of like it depends on the punishment, but there's also where some people don't even know what they're doing is wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm friends with Andy Dick, like, and
There's a
Andy,
lot that's come out of his mouth.
yeah, and he's done a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
But Andy is also, here's how I know, because I've known Andy since I was 8. His brain is just so wired from all the drugs he's done. He truly doesn't know, and I think that's sad.
It is sad. I feel, you know, and maybe it's probably a little bit very similar to how you feel. It's like growing up in this industry, you see what some stuff has done to people's like psyche and bodies and emotions and the things that they've put themselves through or other people have put themselves through. And I don't condone continuing abuse or continuing these kind of behaviors, but I do have empathy for like people and going, okay, why did you do that? Can you correct this? Can we get past this? Can we learn from this? And can we as a community, comedy, acting, all these things come together and figure out how to fix us as a whole and not just like eject somebody that did something with no like accountability and no like care for changing the actual system that's causing these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but like I think there is a systematic issue, especially in comedy, where we are allowing certain things to happen. And if a guy is being treated badly backstage, just like a girl's being treated badly backstage, why can't any of us come forward and be supported by our community? Like that's sad.
Yeah, it is, but I also think like from a male's perspective, like if you say something, you're a coward or you're not manly. You know what I mean?
Which is it's so sad, right? And that's why people get away with things. It's the same. It's similar to what a lot of women go like. If I speak up, then I am.
Oh, you got a cat!
The cat!
Holy shit! Okay.
You know,
I had to throw that in because now we have company. They weren't there the first time.
Oh yeah, she didn't see the beast, the massive beast.
I'm the worst interviewer. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. Zora is just like deciding it's like her interview now. The cat's just gonna be like, I'm gonna come in. It's my turn. But yeah, like no, I think that's a problem with everything. Like there's stuff that's been happened to me, and I'm like, I don't want to speak up because then I'm that girl. Then you're the girl that happened to, and then you're the, you know, and that sucks. It sucks to be that person. I put it in, I just end up putting it in a script or something because I'm just like, I'm gonna call him out. If you can guess, whatever. You know.
So but, that's what happened to Charles Sanchez.
No, I'm just kidding. You're probably a great guy. I don't know you, Charles Sanchez.
He's not gonna listen to this. He's too busy engaging to his 500 followers.
He's your number one fan, and you're just really close.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous because his opener like lectured me. Like he had no idea. Like, not to brag, but I have an hour special and a half-hour special, and he was literally treating me like I'm a rookie, and I was just like, ugh. Like it really offended me to the point where I now have to talk about this. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that's how some people make themselves feel better. They feel
it's my insecurities.
No, like him. I'm saying him making himself.
No, but I do have insecurities too. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, everyone has insecurities.
Like I can't drop something so stupid. I have to make a 10-minute podcast about it.
I think you should make an hour-long podcast about it. No, do
I'll be like Ty
special.
Rivera. You know, Ty, he does he gets in fights with like all these comics, and he does an hour podcast. He's like, welcome to Unbothered. And he tells the entire story. And then he's like, I'm officially bothered. I love Ty, but if you piss him off, you're done. You know?
But you know, what a great amount of publicity. I want to piss him off now.
Yeah.
Do an hour on me. Get angry at me. Then we can make up. I'll make you cookies or something, and we'll be fine.
Very sweet. So how is the transition to acting when you're a child to now you're an adult? Like, is it easier because now you do stand-up, or is it like less? Because as a child, I remember when I went on auditions, I auditioned for Dennis the Menace. And
oh my gosh, you would have been such a good
I know, because I watched that show the other day, and that kid was not funny.
Oh my gosh, I can just see it.
Yeah.
Can you just do it now?
I don't like Mr. Wilson.
Yes. Oh, perfect.
My dog ate your chocolate.
Like
I will say I thought it was funny how he like poured his mouthwash into his eye vision cleaner or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was so gross.
But now it's kind of mean, you know what I mean? You do that.
I mean, most of the stuff from that decade,
that
was jokes.
It should have been called Dennis the Killer.
Yeah, I mean,
because like now you could kill somebody like that, you know?
I mean, back then you could too, but.
But, you know, to be fair, Walter Matthau was on his last leg too, so it doesn't really matter on his point.
That's fair.
So back to the question. So like, how is it like easier for you to transition into it? Like, do you feel more confident from when you were a kid, or do you feel like stand-up is also helping you like make the auditions easier, because like auditions are scary?
I think it was weird for me for a bit, like to be the one responsible for my own destiny, right? Because like when you're a kid, like you just show up to things and you don't like make decisions. So for a while, I think like that was scary. But then I think now it's kind of freeing. It's like I'm, you know, putting myself out there through stand-up, which I think is, I mean, like it's scary for a lot of people, and it's scary for me. Like I have insecurities and stuff like that, but there's like nowhere I'd rather be, like, you know, expressing myself. Like I went through like this horrible day the other day, and everyone's like, what are you gonna do?
Tell me about it. What happened?
Yeah, well, I had a little fight with my boyfriend, and
excellent. I like this.
I was hysterical for the majority of the day, and I was talking to my friends on the phone, and they're like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna watch TV? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go do a 7-minute set. And they're like, why? And I was like, because I feel better. I'll feel better, you know?
Yeah.
And we were like, why does that make you feel better? I was like, I have no idea. I just need to like, and so I feel that it has freed me up. And I think being an adult in this industry has also freed me up to be like, yes, I want this. Yes, I want that. And also like, I didn't realize as a kid that you could actually like choose kind of the stuff that you wanted to do, and that you didn't have to wait for the phone call from your agent, that you could go seek and do and make and create stuff, content yourself. This is such a freeing time to make content. I like, you know.
Yeah. And you make your own content too. So like,
Yeah.
how is that? Because like, that's something that my manager is saying, Keith, you need to do that. But like, I'm not saying I'm confident enough to do it. I'm just not confident in my will to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and I think it's a mixture of things. Like for a while, like I couldn't let it go without like the perfectionism of it. I was like, well, that's not good enough. And
yeah. Like I'll
like,
film something. I'll be like, this doesn't look like a John Cusack movie to me.
Right. And you're like, yeah, of course, because I made it on my iPhone in like
10 minutes. Like, I don't want to fucking do this. This is horseshit.
But I think there's just like something that I had to let go of, that perfectionism, and just be like, let it go. Just let it out there. It's not going to be perfect. But every time you make something, you become better, you know? Yeah. And sometimes it's just like comedy. You throw something out there, it hits, it doesn't hit. And you learn. I mean, if I look back at my first short film to now, yeah. I'm so glad that I'm growing as a filmmaker or as a content maker, because, you know, but if I didn't make all those mistakes back then, and I didn't like let that out in the world, and I would have made nothing. And it's scary.
Yeah. I think like I look at like goals from a more positive point of view in my thing, because like I'm not a megastar comedian, but I opened up for my hero comedian, my favorite comedian ever since I learned what comedy was. I became his best friend. I wrote a script, which I'm trying to sell, and I have an hour special, which I'm actually extremely proud of. Like, out of everything in my career, I like my special has no insecurities at all. Like, I'm proud of it 100%. And I don't know if that's just because it's my first one. I'm sure my second one I'm gonna like have like it fucking sucks. But like, you know what I mean?
I hope not. I hope that you like, you know, have pride in everything you do, and just like and go, okay, maybe next time I can do this and this better, or I'll have more funding, or I'll have whatever. Right. You know, I
guess what I'm trying to say is there's certain feels as an artist that you only can have so much pride in.
Right.
Because like I said, back to the mistakes things, you and I, we all make mistakes, and we will continue to make mistakes.
Right.
And that will affect in our work too. You know, so when you have that one perfect thing where you're like, oh, mistake free, this is beautiful.
Right.
I'm not saying none of the others aren't beautiful, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think you have to work up to that confidence by throwing stuff out there and being vulnerable. I mean, it's all about being like vulnerable and letting go, which is so flippin' scary. Like, it's just horrible.
I see a painting behind you. The folks at home won't see this because I don't release the video, but she has a painting of like Kermit the Frog on steroids.
So I did this in high school.
Oh yeah. It was beautiful. What I'm just saying. But like that, it has a point to what we were talking about, because like I heard this story like Van Gogh, you know, like he used to paint stuff, you know, and then he got perfect, you know, he's like, oh, this is perfect. And then he heard the devil, right? And the devil was whispering in his ear, and he's like, yeah, you suck. So he cut off his ear. You never hear that story?
Yeah, I have. Just, every time the ear, you know.
I made up the devil part, but you gotta spice it up for the children.
the ear part always gets me.
Yeah.
I went to that Van Gogh exhibit, and they were like selling like ears, like ear erasers.
That would be hilarious.
And they
had really?
Yeah, and they had an action figure of him, and like a removable ear. This is who we are as a society. I didn't do this, you guys. I didn't do it.
I didn't bring it up ears though. But like that like that's my sense of humor, you know what I mean? Like oh man, like I was bombing at a show a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't my fault. It was just, they didn't get me, so it was their fault.
So it's their fault. Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't understand. So
I was like, oh man, this is like telling jokes at a funeral, right? And they got laughed. I was like, I did a funeral gig, and the guy who hired me, he died. Yeah. And what he did was he jumped in front of a train, but he left a note, and the note said was, don't take the Amstrad. It's a bad train, I guess. But no, you like every other comedian have a podcast. What's your podcast about?
Oh
like,
my god, I have so
meditate,
many. Isn't that horrible?
You have so many podcasts?
I do. It's
what?
So bad.
I only have one.
I know. I have a lot.
Which one is the one that you want the Reza rifters to check out?
Well, there's two that do like Comic-Con regularly, and those are like the ones I'm, not that I'm not proud of everything I do. Don't get mad at me if you're on the other podcast.
They're big Keith Reza fans. They're gonna listen.
So I do a podcast called Serial Killer, where we pair breakfast cereal with true crime, and
oh my god, that's hilarious.
I love that one.
Who's your favorite serial killer?
Okay, so
this is actually a great question.
I think I'm kind of a Ramirez girl, because I grew up in LA.
And what did Ramirez do for the folks at home?
He's the Night Stalker. So he
stalked his prey at night.
Yeah, he snuck into windows and killed women.
Excellent.
But he's just so LA. He's steeped in LA history. There's a hotel called Hotel Cecil, which is like this haunted hotel that's notorious in LA, and that is where he stayed during all this time. So there's just like all this lore about him. And he's my favorite he is one of my favorite ways that people got caught.
How did he get caught?
He was in a East LA, and they found, like, he tried to do something to a girl, and the whole neighborhood beat the crap out of him until the police had to pull the neighborhood people off of him, and he ran to the police to be saved.
Did he get caught during the day?
Yeah.
Holy Lord. So that just shows you how, like, he
became the day stalker.
He tried to become the day stalker, and then these fuckers were like, no, there's already a day stalker.
Right.
I don't know. No, but I just think like serial, like, not saying like I want to like serial kill people, but like I do watch forensic.
You are a white male, so I will track.
Yeah, my sister says I'm white privilege. I don't know what that means, but so I got a funny story about my sister. I gotta tell you, I think you'll love it. But I gotta go back to the serial thing. But so like I watch Forensic Files because I can't watch stand-up comedy because then I feel, okay, maybe I didn't write the next jokes I'm going to say. Like I feel like so I can't watch a lot of comedy. I could maybe watch 2 or 3 and then I'll get bored with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I watched Forensic Files, and Peter Thomas's voice is just so creepy that I like it. Yeah. Like I don't know why. Like, so I don't know if it's a fantasy where like I want to be serial killed. I don't know, but like if you got Peter Thomas's voice, let's do this. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, I am so obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with like serial killers and horror movies and stuff like that. And I think, I'm pretty well adjusted. No, I'm not. But I don't think I don't ever want to be a victim of being a serial killer, or I don't want to be a serial killer. But,
I didn't mean it like that. I meant like if he has the Peter Thomas voice, it's not that bad. That's what I'm trying to say.
I do know the ultimate way I do not want to go. Like,
okay.
So like there's this
by a train, right?
By a train, which that you probably can hear a train in the background because I live near the train tracks. No, like there was this, and it's not even a killer. Like I think it was in Boston. There was a serial tickler, and he would just climb into women's windows in the middle of the night and tickle their feet, and then talk to them in a high-pitched voice. And I think if that happened to me, I'd rather like Ramirez. Just like I don't think I could live with it. I think I would be like, don't tickle me. I can't report this. I can't do anything. I just need to like I can't deal with this psychologically.
There is something about that where it's like it's torn between creepy and like disturbing, you know what I mean? Like, and you're like, I don't know which one's worse. Like, because creepy I could live with. Like I'm friends with creepy friends, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you're a comedian.
Yeah, but disturbing, I don't know if I could be friends with someone who likes to kill cats, you know what I mean?
No, 100% I could not. No, for sure not. I mean, my cat just heard that and just was like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. But no, I actually did live by a serial killer. Like, seriously, he got caught like 3 years ago. And so my house is here. His house is like across the street on the right. And I remember my grandmother, she was like, hey, I'm going to bake you a birthday cake. I was like, oh, cool. I love birthday cakes, right? And she's like, I'm just going to borrow a cup of sugar from Brad across the street. I was like, all right. So I never saw my grandmother again. And then 3 years later, they found her in the wall at his house.
What?
Oh, yeah, that's a bad serial killer joke.
It's like, what?
But
what if it happened?
What if it happened?
I'm so glad that it didn't.
All right, so I gotta tell you the sister story real fast, and then I got one last question for you, but I want to respect your time. Are you good on time? You got 5 more minutes?
Yep.
All right, cool. So some guest hit me up to do Reza riffs, and I said yes, because I actually do say yes to everybody, because I actually like enjoying talking to people, and I feel interviewing people like regardless, I feel I learned a lot from you that can make me a better comedian. I feel like as an actor too, I feel with everyone I interview, I could learn something. You know what I mean? It's like going to school.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe in podcasts. So I said yes to this guy, and he was actually great guest. And his name was Dan Payne. And my sister looked him up, and she's like, oh my God. I was like, what? She's like, his publicist also represents, like, I forgot her name, like Sophie Bush. Let's just say Sophie Bush or something.
Sure.
Right? And my sister's the biggest Sophie Bush fan. I was like, oh, that's whatever. That's cool. And then my sister says, don't fuck this interview up. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, if you fuck it up, Sophie Bush will never do Reza riffs. I was like, but I don't want Sophie Bush. She's like, I do. I was like, okay. And she's like,
you're like, get your own podcast then.
Yeah. And she's like, if you fuck up Dan Payne, I will never talk to you again. I was like, that's like pressure, because if you tell me something, like if you tell me like not to do something, I'm just the comedian in me. I'm probably going to do it, not self-consciously. Right.
Yeah.
So I interviewed Dan Payne. I'm in my room right now where I do all, my sister's like right by the door, like giving me the exorcist eyes. I'm like, holy Lord. And she's like, I was like, okay. So like I'm on a leash, right? I'm like, this is like, I understand her obsession with Sophie Bush because I have a huge obsession with John Cusack. And if it happened to her, like if she interviewed Joan Cusack or whatever, I'd be like, doing the same thing. But this is like weird, right? You know, and like she was like staring at me where like her face is all green, like she's just found my grandmother in my neighbor's house. And
good callback.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm interviewing Dan Payne, right? And just like how I'm interviewing you, his fucking publicist comes in to watch the interview. I was like, oh shit, I'm probably gonna fuck this up. And my sister's like, let him in. I was like, okay. So I let him in, right? And I'm interviewing Dan Payne and it's going good. My sister's just like giving me like cues and stuff. I was like, hey, Dan, I think I just got to like talk about this elephant in the room because I feel like I'm being like pointed with a gun in my head. My sister doesn't want me to fuck up this interview because your publicist who's watching this interview is a huge, also represents Sophie Bush. And my sister loves Sophie Bush. My sister wants me to interview Sophie Bush for her. And if I fuck this up, that's probably not going to happen, even though Sophie Bush is way out of my league. And my sister the whole time is just like, but I feel like I had to break the ice to let her know that the publicist is probably never going to let Sophie Bush let me interview her, regardless if I didn't fuck it up or not, because I'm just Keith Reza. You know what I mean? I'm not on that high tower of Justin Bieber. So, you know what I mean? So my sister didn't talk to me for a week. I believe
that you could get Justin Bieber. I believe in you.
Oh, yeah. All I got to do is call Chris D'Elia and say, hey, you got the Biebs number?
The Biebs.
Oh, no. Because Justin Bieber said, I would never want to interview Justin Bieber anyway because his favorite comedian is Chris D'Elia. And that like offends me because this is before he got Me Too'd, but he's never been a good comic. I'm sorry. Ooh, he's been on TV shows. Ooh, he's not a good comic. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get it. I mean, I have very weird.
He's like a feature at
favorite
best.
Comedian. I people are always like, who? When I say my favorite.
Who's your favorite comedian? Keith Reza?
Yes. Oh, there you go.
I guessed it.
You guessed it.
So back to the point, my sister was pissed off at me. She didn't talk to me for a week because she swears I fucked up that interview. But I actually listened to it. It was actually kind of funny.
And then Sophie Bush called you. And
no, I'm not gonna like write them and be like, hey. I know the Dan Payne one you weren't too thrilled with because I kind of like shit talked you while you were listening about Sophie Bush. But we should get Sophie Bush on here and we'll do the exact same thing. I don't know.
And lock your sister out of the room.
Yeah, but I guess I share that story because one, it's funny, but two, we were talking about mistakes. I felt like I really let my sister down. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, I make jokes about it, but I remember it really hurt me because, you know, as a brother and as a friend and even as a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, I'm not the type of person who likes to let people down. And that's why I love stand-up because I don't like letting audiences down.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
I don't mind letting comedians down.
Certain comedians.
Yeah, Charles Sanchez.
He's your number one fan. You're just like...
Oh. But no. But who is your favorite comic? And then I'll ask my last serious question.
I am a Roy Wood Jr. fan.
I love Roy Wood.
Yeah. So,
have you ever met him?
I have. That was probably the most romantic thing that's ever happened to me was.
Tell the story.
My boyfriend knew that I was obsessed with him, and so he pulled.
But before you tell, can you cheat on your boyfriend with Roy Wood? Like, is that the good? Oh, okay. Excellent. Cool. Awkward silence for the folks at home. Usually, yes.
Just imagine some visuals. Anyway, so we went to go see him in Sacramento, and
did you open for him?
No, we just went to go see him because I was just a big fan, and all at once, my boyfriend turns to me and goes, "We're gonna go meet him because I called in a whole bunch of favors and we're gonna go meet him."
Did you tell him you were a comic?
I did, but I think I was such a here's the bad thing about me. I was like, oh my God, you're my hero. And he goes, oh, did your boyfriend drag you? I was like, no, I'm the fan. And he's like, oh, and he was like, oh yeah, she's a comedian. And I was like, and he's a great comedian too. And he's blah, blah, blah. And I like just pumped up my boyfriend so much. I was like, he's a great comedian and he opened for this and he opened for that. And I was like, God damn it, I didn't say anything about me. Yeah. But that's my word vomit.
I think that's cool though. You should have told him, you should have said, hey, I'm a profesh if you ever need any openers.
Right? That's what I should have done. Instead, I was like, my boyfriend's a great opener. You should
You should take him on tour.
You should take him on tour. And then I was like, why did I do any of that?
I remember once I did Ontario with Norm, and at the time the manager of the Improvs was Dan Godfrey, and oh God, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I'll say it anyway because we're friends and I love you. So Dan Godfrey was dating Jen Murphy at the time, and so Norm hated Dan, really hated Dan, because Dan was kind of a bully too, and Norm didn't like that. But besides the point, so Dan comes in and he's like, "Hey Norm, I got a big favor to ask you," in his Godfrey way. And Norm's like, what's the favor? Yeah. He's like, I need you to get me out of trouble with the lady. We're fighting, and I feel like if I get a video of you saying, you love her and all that stuff, it might make it better for me. Yeah, man, sure, I could do that. What's her name? Jen Murphy. Oh, yeah. Okay. Keith, have you ever heard of Jen Murphy? Apparently she does a stand-up too. And then me with my stupid Asperger's, no filter. Yeah, she's not very funny. And then Norm says, you hear that, Dan? He didn't think she was funny, but I'll still do it because, I want you to get out of this green room. So he takes the cameo. He's like, hey, Jen Murphy, it's Norm MacDonald. I'll just saying, hey, welcome to comedy, and also you're not funny.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh my God. I was just like, why did he do that? But that's what he did, he did that to fuck with people. And I was like, oh God.
Well, that's the thing about comedians too, is they we're on.
Yeah. But I was like, I pray to God, two things. Dan never showed Jen that video, because I think that was just destroyer, because I like Jen. I think she's very nice. And two, I hope she never listens to my interview with you.
Yeah, and if you are listening, that was a joke and never.
Oh yeah, it was a joke.
It was just riffing.
Yeah. So my last serious question is, tell me about Disordered. What brought you to do that?
Disordered came out of the fact that a group of fellow comedian female friends of mine, all of us were just comparing eating disorders and OCD and anxiety disorders and stuff like that. We're like, this is funny. How do we make this fun? How do we make this funny? And then the pandemic hit. And we were like, well, we don't really want to put this on the back burner. We want to make something. So we ended up doing it the best way we could, which was kind of like a Zoom format. And so we did episodes about Zoom therapy and just getting through the pandemic with all the various disorders that we actually, everyone in these has some kind of form of these disorders. So right. It's based on really what we are all going through, which is, very vulnerable, but pretty funny. So, yeah. Because
when I Googled you, I saw that, and I clicked on it, and I apologize, I didn't have time to watch it or whatever, but that's something that would very interest me.
Well, thank you. Yeah. It's, I think a lot of my work is kind of like based in that, like my one woman show is just about being very vulnerable, about being biracial and being a woman. And I think there's something really great about comedy that's super honest. And it's so personal to you.
Yeah.
Like nobody else can do that joke because it's you, So.
I lied. I have one more question if I can. Okay. So Anastasia,
mm-hmm.
What does your name mean?
Oh, I guess my name means resurrection or something, or rebirth. But I was named after the Tsarina who was shot. So.
Oh, I thought it meant Meg Ryan's last movie.
It did exactly. Mm-hmm. It means Aaliyah's favorite jam.
Oh yeah. I like to leave on a bad joke. Where can the folks at home follow you and support you?
You can follow me at Anastasia W on Twitter, at Anastasia Wash on Instagram, Anastasia TV on YouTube, and yeah, that's it.
I really did enjoy talking with you.
Thanks, I did too.
I'm glad we did this, and I'm glad I didn't flake again.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But the first time my friend Gilbert died, and I was like, oh God, it's I feel podcasts is because they're going to be there forever, regardless if they're good or not. You should always give 100% because they'll be there forever. You know what I mean?
That's a lot to deal with to put on a podcast. So I completely understand.
So I felt I owed that to you too, Flake.
Yeah, well, I completely understand loss for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for your losses.
Yeah. Well, I love you, Anastasia, and thank you so much for riffing with me.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, subscribe, rate, review.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.